Today's topic for the video is benchmarking your portfolio. How do you know if your investments are doing what they should be doing? The market goes up, the market goes down. That's not a good way to figure it out. If it goes up, that doesn't necessarily mean things are all right. What you've got to look at is how your funds did versus the area of the market that they're investing in. Now, behind me are several different benchmarks that you might look at when you're looking at your investment portfolio. First thing you got to do, find out what area of the market a particular mutual fund is investing in that you happen to own. For example, if you own a large U.S. blend fund and a fund investing in large U.S. blend stocks, compare that fund to the S&P 500. How did it do? Did it do better than? Did it do worse than? For example, if the S&P 500 went up 15%, but your fund only went up 12%, you may be happy you got a 12% return, but that's bad. You lost 3% versus the benchmark. You got to be real careful here to make sure that you're comparing like time periods. You know, for example, if I'm looking at 2010 returns, I want to make sure I'm looking at 2010 returns for the fund, 2010 returns for the asset category or the area of the market so that I have a like comparison. If I'm looking at large U.S. value stocks, I want to look at the Russell 1000 value. If I'm looking at small U.S. blend, let's say I've got a fund that's investing in that area of the market, how did it do versus the Russell 2000? That is the area of the market that consists of small U.S. stocks. Small U.S. value, the Russell 2000 value. International large blend would be the EFA index. It stands for Europe, Australia, Far East. And then you look at a large international value fund. Maybe you own a large international value fund. If you are, you're pretty unusual. Most people don't get that diversified, even though they really should be. But if you do have one, compare it to the Europe, Australia, Far East value index. International small, now this is an area a lot of people neglect. It is a great diversifier. You really need to own this area of the market in an investment portfolio, no matter what your age, because it actually helps to reduce the volatility, studies show. Compare your international small fund, if you've got one, to the MSCI EFA small. That's an area of the market. Now, you got emerging markets, MSCI emerging markets. Now, how do you find these things? Well, you can put the name of the asset category, for example, S&P 500 or Russell 1000 value in a search engine, along with the word performance. And you ought to be able to find the performance of that particular asset category by doing that. Another way to do it, this isn't as good, but you can go to Morningstar, their website, morningstar.com. Enter your mutual fund name. It will tell you what fund, where that fund is, and you'll find that, and you'll actually be able to compare it to the category average. Now beware, because they're just comparing the fund versus other funds in the same category as your fund. It is much better to compare it against the benchmark, but this is a little bit more difficult. Another thing that you might do is, if you're wondering about these kind of things and you want to learn more about it, well, you can read my book, Above the Maddening Crowd, or maybe you just come in here if you haven't already. This is something we automatically do for our clients. We automatically do benchmarking every single quarter because, as far as I'm concerned, if you know your fund is keeping up with benchmarks or the category averages or the areas in the market that they're investing in, then you don't have a lot to worry about over time. We'll catch you next time.